I'm 30 years old, young, married. Why do I need an estate plan? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Carlson. I'm starting to record these in advance now, so saying good morning is kind of a misnomer, but it still works because when you're watching, it's Monday morning because I'll still air them all at 8 a.m. every Monday morning. I hope you're enjoying your nice hot cup of strangely warm coffee. Remember, you can get it anytime at the bike shop, strangelywarm.com. You can get it even on Amazon. Every week, I try to give a shout out to one of our great customers. Today, Intercoastal Steel Builders. It's my brother-in-law, my mother-in-law, Dustin Skitka. Dustin, proud of you. You do a great job out there. I know you're working your tail off, and we're very proud to have you as a client and a family member. Any of your large steel building needs, make sure to give Intercoastal Steel Builders a call. Also, shout out to Intercoastal Steel Builders because their very own Vivian Skitka won our challenge on this past Monday's show where I gave you a discount if you listened all the way to the end. So from now on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a keyword in sometime during the show and I'll say keyword now, and I might type it up on the screen, but that'll give you a cue that you grab that keyword, shoot me a message, and whoever messages me first gets 10% off their next bill. All right, let's see how that works. I'll try it again for one more week. The goal there, try to get you to watch the whole thing. I'm 30 years old, young, healthy, couple kids, recently married. Why do I need an estate plan? Nothing's going to happen to me. It's kind of the thought that everyone has when you start thinking about what to do and how to handle things if you suddenly pass away. We all think that we're invincible and might live forever, but life is short and unpredictable. So make sure that you're ready, whether you happen to die unexpectedly, you become incapacitated, you're unable to voice your opinion or tell someone what you want to do, or you just become so sick that you're on a ventilator, which is something that happened to a lot of people last year during COVID-19. These are all scenarios where a good estate plan can really help you get a hold of what's going to happen after these events happen to you. Some of the reasons why you'd want to have an estate plan: I have kids. I have assets like car, house, boats, investment accounts, retirement accounts, life insurance. All of these things need to be directed somewhere at my passing. Whether you're single, married, kids, divorced, widowed, whatever it is, you've got to have all of these things detailed out so that your heirs know where they go and how to treat them after you pass on. I'm going to start with the simple things and then we'll talk about each component of it. This is something that Jessica and I have just gone through recently and still kind of in the process because it can be a moving target. As your kids get older, assets get added or deleted, you might want to update these scenarios. So the first part, and an easy kind of low-hanging fruit that you can take care of, is make sure that your beneficiaries are taken care of so that you've updated your beneficiaries, they're clear, and they're all recorded with whatever insurance, retirement account that you need. Make sure your beneficiaries are listed there and that they're up to date. These can be things from 401k, life insurance, disability insurance, your regular checking and savings accounts, anything that you might be able to put someone on a transfer at death or a beneficiary. Make sure those things are updated. Some of the parts of an estate plan include a will, maybe a living trust, a revocable or an irrevocable trust, an advanced healthcare directive, a durable power of attorney. Those are some of the basic forms that you would have, and start with something as simple as a will. Start with making sure that you have a very good will. Always recommend seeing an attorney for all of these documents to make sure, even if they might be something that you can do online, meeting with an attorney to get their advice and talk to him about your specific situation is always a good idea. We're only going to hit these things in high level. A will basically says what's going to happen with all of my stuff when I pass. And you want to think about the things you have, large and small, if you can, to detail them in an asset list to identify who's going to get them. It might sound simple, but a lot of times when there is no will that determines who's going to get a house or a car or a piece of artwork or a piece of furniture, those things can all be a source of frustration and anger with your family after you're gone. They're going to have to then go to the courts and determine who's going to get what, especially if the family doesn't agree on who's going to get what. A lot of people set up living trusts so that they can avoid probate, but this also helps control your assets after you pass. So if you put all of your, if you set up a living trust or a revocable trust and put all your assets in it, like your house and your car and bank accounts, things of those nature, when you pass, that trust becomes irrevocable. And then the trust document determines how things are going to get paid out. But one of the big reasons is to avoid the courts and avoid probate and avoid that level of fighting over your assets after you're gone. The next document is a durable power of attorney. A durable power of attorney is something that happens while you're alive, giving, in this case, your spouse, me, the right to act on behalf of my wife if she's not able to do whatever it is. So if we need to sign a contract or do something like that, and she's on vacation and it needs to be done right then, gives me the power to be able to do that and sign it on her behalf, as if I were her. Once she passes, can no longer be a power of attorney because she's now deceased, and everything would then be I'm not an attorney, therefore the things I'm going to be highlighting and talking about today are based on my personal experience with my local attorney just recently when my new wife and I went through the process together. I always recommend talking to a professional, and that should include your attorney and your accountant to talk about your estate and how things should be arranged. Next item is a designation of a healthcare surrogate. Not something that necessarily has to be done, but what it does is, the basics of what it does is gives me the ability to be able to get information if I need to on her behalf. And this really relates to how HIPAA laws work and how I can get information about my spouse and when she might not be able to get it herself or understand it herself. It also, in that document, you can add in something that a lot of people talk about, where if she can no longer make a decision for herself and she's on life support, would give me the power to be able to act on her behalf and make sure that her wishes are taken care of. That could include a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate, which basically says that if my life has to be controlled by a life support system, please unplug me and don't let me go there. You want to make sure that those documents are all set up and secure so that in the case something unexpected happens, you're protected and able to make those decisions on behalf of your spouse, whichever spouse that it is. The final document is the living will, which actually states what that person's wishes are in case they are incapacitated and unable to make that decision for themselves. The living will is really the do not resuscitate order that says, if my life has to be prolonged via life support and there's no chance of me recovering, please do not allow that to happen. One really important thing that I'd like to add there is, if you're not an organ donor, please do that next time you renew your driver's license. Make sure that if you pass, your organs can go on to save someone else. You never know who might need them, and it's always a good thing to do. All right, so as always, I thank you for joining me on Coffee with Carlson. Remember, I'm not an attorney. These are items based on my personal experience with my attorney and some of the things that have happened with my clients in the past. If you need to get in touch with us and have any questions, you can reach me at 863-382-4141 or check us out on the web at carlsonaccounting.com. You can get my email address there. You can even schedule an appointment right on the webpage so that we can chat. All right. Thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you next week on Coffee with Carlson.